This is the Drive-In Podcast, episode 34, take one. Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome to the 34th episode of the Drive-In Podcast. On today's episode of the Drive-In, we have our Oscars recap. We also have the Express Checkup with yours truly, Dr. O. We have our review of Best Picture nominee Minari, and we have our top billing of Oscar snubs. So, use the bathroom now. Grab your popcorn and enjoy the 34th episode of the Drive-In Podcast. Fellas, day after the Oscars, Nez, Flicks, how we feeling? Start off with Nez. What was your reaction from the news that Chadwick Boseman didn't take home Best Actor last night?
I'm kind of outraged. I'm a little like I think Anthony Hopkins would have been completely fine with it. I don't know what they were thinking there based off of performance and also legacy. I mean, maybe they wanted to get one to him, to Anthony Hopkins before his career is over. But that was really a huge surprise, and I think the internet agrees with us.
100%. I literally gasped out loud. I was watching with Ricky Flicks. Ricky Flicks' girlfriend was in the basement. She was sleeping. It's like 11 o'clock at night. It's the last award of the night, and they announced it. And I was just waiting for, like I said in our pre-Oscar show, I can't wait for the speech that's going to be spoken for Chadwick Boseman, how they're going to honor him. And when they said the name Anthony Hopkins, I literally did a slight scream. There was like a little girl scream. I was like, whoa! Really quick. And Sarah, across the room, just popped up, and she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Chadwick Boseman won." Ricky Flicks is going nuts.
Oh my gosh!
I was literally in shock. And Ricky Flicks, what was your reaction?
Yeah, I have not seen The Father. I don't think anyone has. I think that's the only movie I haven't seen that was nominated for any award this year. So I can't say anything, but I did mention in our pre-Oscar show that people were saying that a lot of big time critics were saying this was Anthony Hopkins' best performance he's ever done. And obviously no one expected him to win, but I am just shocked, surprised that they didn't honor Chadwick Boseman's legacy. But what I was almost just as shocked about, but not to the same extent clearly, is that they changed up the order of the Oscars. Mm-hmm. And I hated it because Best Picture is supposed to be just a climatic ending to the year in cinema, the year in film. And they just totally changed it up and it ruined the flow of the night. There wasn't really a flow of the night because it was just so crazy with all those changes, not for the better. And you would think, oh, they're moving Best Actor as the last award for Chadwick Boseman to get it, so it ends the night on that super high.
Right.
But just clearly ended with a picture of Anthony Hopkins instead.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
he wasn't even there, right?
Yeah, and he wasn't allowed to zoom in because he was vacationing out in the Caribbean.
He's at home in Wales.
Right, but he went to Wales. He was vacationing, went home to Wales, and didn't want to travel to London.
Okay.
To the other site in London where Keith Stanfield was, Gary Oldman and other people. So he's like, "Can I zoom in and do a speech in case I win?" And they said no. So they just ended the night like that. And Olivia Colman was supposed to take since he wasn't allowed to do that, Olivia Colman was supposed to go on stage, but instead they just ended the night.
Right. And that was after Joaquin's awkward ass intro, and he was trying to be funny, talking about, oh, I don't really get involved, I don't immerse myself in the roles, and it just landed so flat. But I was saying just hand him the mic, and it's just he'll go off script, and he'll be weird AF, and it'll just it'll go off the rails, but it's gonna be entertaining for the viewer. But he's just a weird guy. But I agree with the Best Picture. It's everyone joins on stage. It's you have the producers, the cast, right, director, everybody who's involved. It's a great ending to the night, and I think they did expect Chadwick to win, and he did it, and they're like, oh god, we're screwed.
But you know what was weird too is that with the Best Picture coming before Best Actress and Nomadland, the heavy favorite, winning that, Frances McDormand was one of the lead producers on Nomadland, so she was one of the speakers for Nomadland. But then the next award's Best Actress, and she wins again, so she has to go back up there when she already hit that high doing the wolf howl. So it's just
that was nice.
What are we doing here, Steven Soderbergh? You're running the Oscars and you're just making I thought it was kind of a joke at the end, how badly it was run.
We were talking about the music. The music was off all night. It was
when they were showing the death
music after people won. Yeah.
Yeah. After people won, they didn't do the score of the film or anything. They did like what was the one? I think after Daniel Kaluuya won, they did "Let's Hear It from the Boy," Whitney Houston song. Like I was just like, what? Like what is this? And other ones they did like really sad songs after a win. It was just so there was no flow. There was no flow, and I thought it was really poorly ran. And hey, the Oscar viewership was god awful. Did you guys see the numbers?
That's what I was about to bring up. Yeah, it's literally the
Less than
worst
10
it's
million.
been. It's been in, like, let me just read you. 2017, 32.9 million. 2018, 26.5 million. 2019, 29.6 million. 2020 went down a little bit to 23.6 million. 2021, 9.8 million.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's so sad.
I mean,
That's
well,
so
let's be honest with ourselves here, though. I mean, part of it could be because of the poor, like a badly produced award show, and you know, no one's saying that that's not true, but also, I mean, theaters have been closed for a solid year now.
Yeah.
So people aren't really as engaged with movies as they usually are. I mean, yes, in terms of you know, where people are watching more Netflix than ever before, absolutely. But I think movies aren't coming out in theaters. And then, you know, when you think about it, when you go to see a movie in a theater, what's the first thing that you see that's not the movie? And that's like 5 trailers for other movies that are about to come out before that happens. That doesn't happen anymore. So people really aren't aware of this stuff. I remember we had our live stream going, and a lot of our audience didn't really know much of the nominations, or wasn't really familiar with a lot of the movies that came out, and it's not their fault. It's really just the fact that people aren't going to the movies anymore, and they're really not getting insight. They're not seeing the advertisements for the other movies. So I think a big part of the Oscar viewership being down has to do with the fact that movie theaters has been closed, or at least just, you know, really going down for over a year now. So I think it's just a completely different industry right now.
I couldn't agree more. Like yes, there were all these delays. People aren't going to the movie theaters, they're not as engaged with it. And then, like, I think people just shut it off when they saw the way it was being produced, right? They were watching it. But also, when you think of the names that are at the Oscars, there like Brad Pitt wasn't up for an award, Leo DiCaprio wasn't up for an award, Scorsese's not up for an award. These are kind of like newcomers to like the scene too, like Chloe Zhao,
Great
and we're
point.
talking about like Steven Yeun, and like I don't know, that's just like they didn't have the name recognition as usual, but Oscars are the Oscars. We're still going to talk about them, and hopefully, like, the numbers go up next year, or they figure out something different. I don't know.
They
So,
bring on a award-winning director to change it from a TV show to a cinematic experience, and I thought it failed miserably, and clearly the numbers show that.
Yeah, it fell a little flat there.
So it's just shocking to me that Soderbergh would do this. Just such an acclaimed director. It's just shocking.
trying something different just fell on its face, happens. So let's just go over the winners, and let's go over the major awards. Let's get to it. Maybe talk a little bit about more than just the major upset that happened at the end of last night, but maybe go into some detail about the other awards that occurred. So Anthony Hopkins, as we just said, won Best Actor in a major upset over Chadwick Boseman for his performance in The Father. Nomadland lands Best Picture as the heavy favorite. Frances McDormand took home Best Actress in a tight race with Carey Mulligan and Viola Davis. Daniel Kaluuya swept the awards season, right, with an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Judas and the Black Messiah. You have Yoon winning Best Supporting Actress for Minari, the movie we are reviewing today. Along with that, Emerald Fennell won for Best Original Screenplay for her movie Promising Young Woman. And then lastly, The Father won for Best Adapted Screenplay to accompany Anthony Hopkins' win for Best Actor. So, Ricky Flicks, going beyond the Anthony Hopkins win, what other award kind of stuck out when you look at the list I just read?
Well, for me, it's what you didn't say. And Trial of Chicago 7 went 0 for 6 last night. That's big. Netflix, that was their, like, Netflix, like, they also had Ma Rainey, but that was like their, and Mank, but Trial going 0 for 6 was tough for them, especially with Aaron Sorkin. Like, that's not a good look. Mank did win two awards that went for cinematography.
He won 3, dude.
3. It won production design and cinematography. I didn't know if it won another one, but it beat out Nomadland for cinematography, which was, I thought, a lock. So that's an impressive.
I called
feat.
that one in the pre-show.
You did say that. Kudos to you. If you want to, if we want to talk about our predictions, Dr. O and I went 4 for 6 for the big awards. Nez 2 for 6. Just want to put down the record there.
That's a shot.
Yes. But no, that's like it's kind of like what it's like all the best picture nominees got their awards that they were supposed to get, except Trial of Chicago 7 got nothing.
I mean, Trial of Chicago 7, we talked about it in the pre-show that for those who listened on and watched on Instagram Live, like it was being hyped up. I think it was in terms of critical acclaim, it's far surpassed what the audience thought of the movie. It seemed like the audience reception, it was not nearly as positive, but yeah, it was still, I think, second favorite for Best Picture. And I think they're more hurt by Ma Rainey because they were anticipating a win for Chadwick Boseman. They did win like hair and makeup design. That's almost as expected. And there's a chance Viola was going to win. She was also in the race, right? A finalist for the Best Actress. Mm-hmm. So I think it definitely was a hard night for Netflix, but at the same time, they're still putting out really good movies. You know, they're still putting out critically acclaimed movies. They're still in the award season game, and they're not going anywhere. So, right. I mean, I loved Aaron Sorkin when he's with David Fincher by himself. I think it's still a little bit up in the air and like how he's perceived. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say about Netflix there. Nez, any thoughts?
I just want to say that I dared to, I dared to think about outside the box here. You guys were all chalk. I also say that my picks were more votes than they were picks. I was just who I was rooting for.
Yes,
except I don't know why I picked David Fincher because I did not even like Meg that much, but
he was due. He is due. Still,
I have to step up and I have to defend myself here because Ricky's clearly throwing shots at me.
I had to say something. I had to say something for the people that looked at our graphic on Saturday night or Sunday morning. I had to say something.
I picked a couple upsets on my board, not all chalk. I am Minari for Best Picture. I picked Frances McDormand, who was the third favorite for Best Actress, and so did Nez, actually.
Yeah, but that wasn't chalk. She won the.
I know.
That was chalk. No, actually, that was my one chalk.
No, like
she won the Golden Globe.
She did. Or yeah, she won.
No.
SAG. She won the SAG Screen Actors.
Okay. No, I thought she won the Golden Globe.
Golden Globe went to Andra Day.
Oh,
that's how she got into the Oscar. Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
But no, we both got that one. No, we're on the same side here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I was shocked. All right, just to say a shock of the night as well, like obviously to a lesser scale that when we're talking. Speak Now did not win for One Night in Miami. My lock during the Instagram Live. Like
Ricky was shocked.
I was absolutely persuaded. That song in Judas and Black's Mind I thought is not very good. The Her song, I thought like that wasn't even like top 3 in the nominations and it won. I was in complete shock on that. Like it was plus a zillion. I was
Ricky,
perplexed.
I think Ricky, you owe an apology to anyone who is watching that.
I don't think so.
Live because you were asking them to hammer Speak Now.
You called it your lock,
but it was so influential on the movie compared to all the other ones. It was at the most influential on its movie, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. At Lock of the Night at good odds, like a good price. Like it was. I thought that was terrible. I thought it was a big miss. A big miss there.
I was gonna say Lock, then I was probably Chadwick Boseman. So
yeah,
it's crazy. All right, but like other than that, I would say we didn't get enough. We're gonna talk about Minari today, but Alan J. Kim, not enough on screen. He's a cute little kid wearing like the tuxedo shorts. Where was he? he? And there no musical performances either. What was happening there?
Yeah, they were trying to cut out like all the musical performances, the comedy acts, except the trivia, which we'll talk about the butt late. I think we will. But instead they let the actors speak, like let them not get cut off by like music. So that's how it was still ended up being a 3.5 hour Oscars, even though there weren't any extracurricular activities going on.
The speeches weren't excessive either. Like sometimes they like, okay, you're going a little overboard.
I liked it.
Yada. But this one, I thought they were just, okay, I'm on, off. And then at the same time, they got to say a little bit about their story and everything. I think it was a big thing. It wasn't happening during an election year because like they're just going to be like, okay, I'm up here. I got stuff to say.
Right.
Very high tensions everywhere around the country. And they're going to like speak their piece.
The Tyler Perry speech was very good, though.
That was phenomenal.
That was like, wow, impressive. That was great. Very moving.
He's an impressive dude. for sure. And like obviously it shows like he's not just
Yeah.
Medea's family reunion. You know, he's more than that.
Right. Did you guys like the Oscar trivia? I mentioned it just now.
What was it? 3 questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
I thought it was scripted. What Glenn Close did. No way she would have done that like on the spot.
Like that she knew. You didn't think she knew the
Do you know Glenn Close personally? I mean, what do you
Dude, like she would not like just randomly just do that. I think they like
don't
set it
judge a
up.
book by its cover, Ricky Flicks.
I just don't
what do
think
you
so.
mean, why
I don't
not?
think
What-
so. I think it was set up.
Dude, she was like.
I'm not saying she didn't know it. I'm not saying she didn't know it. I think before the show they asked her, or she like they like somehow like put it together. There's no way at all.
During the 90s,
you
she's
think
like
just-
the top of like pop culture. Glenn Close.
I know,
Nobody
but
knows what it
I
is.
don't. I know. I'm not saying she doesn't know what it is, but I don't think there's any way whatsoever that she just randomly just decided to start dancing. She knew beforehand like what was gonna happen.
You think that they just
Yes.
they approached her before the show? Hey,
Yes.
can you throw it back?
1,000%.
Can you throw it
1,000%.
back on TV for us?
Can you get up
1,000%.
That
for
is
about
not
10
Oscar.
seconds?
Yes.
That is
Butt?
not Oscar.
Dude, I'm not gonna guarantee it after my speak now comment last night, but this like there's no
Oscar-
way that
Oscar's
they would
already
allow
talking
like she would just do that. There's no way.
Why not?
Because it's Glenn Close.
Why
you know,
not?
Glenn, how close are you to Glenn Close?
Not
How
very
close.
close.
Are you to close?
I don't think anyone is that close to Glenn Close that they knew they were going to do that, except the people like Steven Soderbergh running the Oscars. That's what I think.
So Steven Soderbergh called Glenn Close up.
No,
and
probably
said,
like
"Can you
someone
throw
else,
it-
like an
can you
assistant or
throw
something."
Can you throw it back?
No, they probably said, "Hey, you want to be a part of the Oscars trivia?" And she said, "Oh, sure."
I would
And then
say I would say it's almost like you're it's like you're a magician calls out someone in the crowd and saying, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna."
yes,
call him."
exactly.
So you're saying it was set up in that way, but
Yes,
I don't know if it would be,
1,000%. Like the
I don't-
Kaluuya
I'm-
reunion.
I'm just trying to
1,000%.
I'm just trying to provide a comparison here. I don't agree with you at all. Like
No,
I
I think this is very like the Kaluuya Lil Ray Howery reunion that was set up as well. They knew what they were doing. Andre Day needed some screen time because everyone knew she had no chance at winning whatsoever. It wasn't like even like remotely possible. So let's get her some screen time. Trivia.
couldn't
They
even
literally
hear what
set
she was
this up.
saying. They just blurred out everything she
Well,
said.
yeah,
Why would they
because-
do that?
No, but like I'm just saying, like that's just they were going to approach her.
Oh, okay.
But no doubt in my mind, Glenn Close was set up.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Yes,
All right.
I'm not changing my mind on that.
Other than that, there wasn't that many upsets. I think everything was pretty much chalk going up to the end of the night. For the Oscars, like I'm not surprised that Emerald Fennell wins Best Original Screenplay for writing and then directing Promising Young Woman. Daniel Kaluuya, well deserved. So happy that he got that Oscar, and I can't wait to see what he does next. A lot of young people being nominated that didn't win. Riz Ahmed, Stephen Yeun. I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the future. And as I said before, this is like a new crop of actors compared to, as I said, the Pitts, the DiCaprios, right? Like, as I said, the Scorseses that are there. Okay. So I thought for the most part, the movies were solid this year for such a lackluster release year. Because honestly, it could have been so much worse. So I think kind of like streaming obviously saved us here. And I'm praying for higher viewers next year. Any other closing thoughts before we move on to the Express Checkout?
Hopefully we get a better show next year. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully when things start opening up in movie theaters, and I just think movies will be a bigger part of our daily lives again soon, and hopefully we'll get that viewership up. And maybe they need a host. Am I crazy?
Maybe.
That's part of the promotion.
Maybe they go back to it.
That's part of the promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Hugh
this guy's
Jackman, come
hosting.
back.
Like maybe they need a host.
Maybe they
Yeah.
do.
Who knows?
Someone who's just gonna put the team on their back.
That's a great
you know?
point.
Maybe they need the drive-in to host.
Brad Pitt did shout us out last night. People forget.
Can you remind the viewers?
He was just saying
If
how
you
like
didn't-
he
if
used
you
to love
didn't
going
watch-
to drive-in theaters.
Yeah,
That's how I fell in love
basically,
with
he was talking
movies.
about listening to our podcast, essentially.
I think he whispered my name, Dr. O, underneath his breath during the speech too. I'm
I
pretty
think.
Oh,
he,
really?
He texted me after and was like, "That was for you guys."
sure. Oh, and we had a group FaceTime with James Gunn. It was great.
Friend of the pod.
Another pod.
All right, it's time.
Moving on to the Express Checkup. All right, let's get her going, huh?
Run it.
Captain America. It's officially in development following the Falcon and the Winter Soldier season finale. Falcon and the Winter Soldier showrunner Malcolm Spellman and Dallin Musson will write the script. Anthony Mackie will don the red, white, and blue, and it's reported that this will not be one of the two projects Chris Evans will reportedly return to the MCU for. Russell Crowe, right, will officially play Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder. Fans were expecting a small cameo from Crowe. However, this reveal may indicate a larger role for the Oscar winner in the MCU. Moving on, West Side Story. There was a trailer that arrived from Steven Spielberg during Sunday night's Oscars. The movie takes a modern spin on the iconic Best Picture winner, starring Rachel Zegler and Ansel Elgort. Yikes. Moving on. A John Wick spin-off is in the works for about the Continental, the hotel featured in the film series. It's going to follow a young Winston, who's played by Ian McShane in the film during the 1970s. And lastly, juiciest part of the checkup, Deadline is now reporting Leo DiCaprio will star in an English language remake of Another Round. Another Round is fresh off a Best International Film win during last night's Academy Awards. DiCaprio is currently filming Martin Scorsese's next film, Killers of the Flower Moon, with Robert De Niro and our plump boy, Jesse Plemons. Boys, that does it for the Express checkup this week. I mean, I think we got to start off with DiCaprio. I think we got to start off with this news. Another round. We got Oscar news here too. Mm-hmm. Nez, give me your instant reaction. DiCaprio, Another Round.
I mean, that's pretty cool. It's going to be pretty fun. I mean, let's see. This is definitely going to be a lot more serious than I predicted an American version of this movie, okay?
Really?
Because yeah, for sure. I mean, I predicted I mean, if Leo's taking it, if he takes it, then yeah, it'll be a lot more serious. So maybe my prediction wasn't as good as I thought it was, but I mean, I mean anything Leo's in, I'm intrigued. The guy, you know, everything he touches turns to gold, so.
And also a phenomenal dancer, Jordan Belfort gif. I can't wait to see him dance like Mads Mikkelsen in this movie. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Oscars, get ready. He's coming for his second.
Oh, man. Wow, that's a bold prediction.
I mean, I wrote a blog on this earlier today, and I immediately thought of, so Another Round, obviously, has Mads Mikkelsen drinking with a bunch of his buddies. So I thought, okay, they're adapting this for DiCaprio, who is going to be in the ensemble, right? Boozing next to him throughout the movie. I got three names for you. I already thought it out. First off, in the leading off, we got Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill will be in this movie.
Of course.
Think about his partner in crime during The Wolf of Wall Street. Number two,
Donnie Hazel.
We got to go Brad Pitt, another partner in crime from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And the wild card at number three, we're going his best friend from childhood, Tobey Maguire. That's going to make the
comeback
four for Another Round, U.S. style, starring DiCaprio. Let's do it, boys. Come on.
That would be really good.
Yeah, little Gatsby vibes with Tobey Maguire and Leo. Wow.
Man, I'm jacked. I'm jacked for it. But at the same time, I also was thinking that Another Round literally just won, right? Best foreign film. And then you're already deciding. I know usually a foreign film does get bought in the U.S. and it's remade, but it's a little different now because these foreign films are usually hitting streaming and people are aware of this movie. Another Round is one of the top streaming movies on Hulu, and it has a dynamite performance. It was basically considered an Oscar snub from Mads Mikkelsen, who also knows English, by the way. So he actually could have done it. So I just think it's kind of like, I love DiCaprio. I think he'd murder the role. But I think the timing's a little weird, no?
It is, but like, look at Parasite. That's getting a series with Mark Ruffalo. Like,
that's
the
weird,
same thing. Like that's, and it's in the same universe. I know you, Dr. O, you always say it's weird. I agree with you, but I think it's just normal now. Like it's like becoming normal.
All right. So I think also the major part of the checkup I want to get to. I think we're done with DiCaprio. I want to move on. Captain America 4. This is a big deal too. I think this goes hand in hand with DiCaprio. Big news in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We had the finale, right? For Falcon the Winter Soldier. They had this suit reveal in the finale. And dude, Anthony Mackie looks incredible. He looks awesome. Can we agree?
Yeah. Agreed.
Oh yeah, no, it looks sick.
He looks great.
He looks insane. Like when he jumped through
Yeah.
the window and he posed for it, I'm like, that's like a Deadpool lands. He goes superhero landing. It was like literally that. And then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
showed off the costume. Like honestly, I kind of thought they were just gonna do. They probably will a Falcon and the Winter Soldier second season rather than a Captain America 4, because all of a sudden now he's grouped in with, okay, you're Chris Evans, like you're the successor. You're going to be succeeding him. So it's kind of interesting that they chose, okay, we're still going to make Captain America 4, kind of loop him into that franchise rather than just like continuing with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series.
Yeah, well, at the end of the last episode of the season, they in the end credits, they changed it from Falcon and the Winter Soldier to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So they already are like starting to make that transition. But I guess since we're talking about it, just one quick point. I thought the dialogue in this series was terrible, and in the Captain America 4, they're carrying on the same screenwriters. Not looking forward to that, but I am looking forward to seeing more of Falcon now becoming Captain America in that sweet white suit. That's just, it's so sick.
Mm-hmm. It looks amazing. And then like the Wakanda like wings there, fire.
The action sequences were really good in the series, so I'm like really excited to see that as well. Just to be clear, like I am excited for the movie. It's just I thought the dialogue was just written terribly, and it's going to be the same. Hopefully change, but not looking likely.
Have you guys seen the clip of Tom Holland at I think it's at like Comic-Con or something like that? And then what's the actor that plays
Anthony
Falcon?
Mackie.
Anthony Mackie. They asked Anthony Mackie if he's seen the new Spider-Man movie, and he says no. And then Tom Holland is like, "Oh well, you know, I haven't seen the Falcon movie either." He's like, yeah, and they like everybody's like, oh, well, you know what, Tom Holland, Anthony Mackie just got his Falcon movie. Let's go, and he got a TV show.
So he's Captain America.
He's Captain America. Captain America now.
Let's give it up for Captain America.
This guy's Captain America. His real name's Clarence.
Dude, and like I also just want to say the show I was a big fan, but at the same time they didn't wrap up like half the story, like multiple of the major storylines that came from that show.
Yeah.
Particularly Baron Zemo. I want to see more of him. Maybe he'll be in Captain America 4.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And Wyatt Russell said that he wasn't planning on coming, like he wasn't planning on continuing his character past this show.
Well, it looks like things are changing now. Huh?
Well, but that came out today. Like he said that today.
Oh yeah, I mean that'd be weird if he doesn't.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's just weird to say that the weekend after it comes out.
That is strange. All right. That does it for the Express Checkup this week. I'm going to throw it over to Nez for our review of the Oscar-nominated film Minari.
Thanks, Dr. O. We appreciate your checking us up, as usual. This week's review is Minari, and it is available for rent for $20 on Prime, YouTube, Apple TV, and we will let you know our opinions on the movie, and you guys can make your decision on whether or not you would like to spend that $20. It's currently rated 98% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb. It's about a Korean American family that moves to an Arkansas home in search of its own American dream. Amidst the challenges of this new life, in the strange and rugged Ozarks, they discover an undeniable resilience of family and what really makes a home. So let's just start off here. We'll go around the horn. What are your guys' knee-jerk reactions to this movie, and how do you feel about it having finally seen it?
Well, first off, Minari, like before even watching this movie, I was like, Minari, that's such a cool title for a movie. I just was kind of hooked by just the title, you know? I'm judging a book by its cover. This is going to be a cool movie. And it was just a nice classic immigrant story with often with unique, I guess, new details, I guess, like new type of immigrant story, but still kind of the same thing, just with trying to assimilate into American culture and our small town in Arkansas and farming and doing it through a church. Like it's kind of similar themes that you see throughout these immigrant stories and movies. But I thought it was just a beautiful movie. The camera shots of the farm and the nature that they are living around, there's just natural beauty around it. It was really nice, really just pleasurable to watch on your screen. And then just finally the score I thought was very good. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if it was nominated or not. I know it was, yeah, good, because that ending with the score, you really felt it there.
I made sure it was nominated. I kept checking. This better be nominated. For
all right, good.
It's fire.
Because Dr. O, I guess I'll pass it on to you with this. Like, you watched this movie before me, and I like wasn't done with it yet, but you're asking me if I watched it, and he said you have to finish it. So, Dr. O, like, your thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's a beautiful movie. It is a beautiful movie, but also has an underlying intensity to it. It's got a lot of family tension, a lot of pressure on the dad, pressure on taking care of the family, and he kind of gets it's kind of the story of kind of the American dream and how that can kind of like skew your other responsibilities, and like you are so obsessed with like becoming and be like this success story. You want to be you don't want to be a failure to your kids, to your family, especially with like Korean descent, and like they obviously have very much a lot of pride like in bringing success to their family. You hear about Steven Yeun's character, how he took care of all his siblings before he took care of his own family. But score phenomenal, acting phenomenal. Steven Yeun very deserving, and I thought obviously Young Jung Soo, what is it again?
Young Jung Yoon.
Young Jung Yoon. Sorry, apologies.
The grandma.
But I thought she brought some levity, obviously, to a very tense family. That parents that consistently talk about divorce. And I gotta say, Steven Yeun's wife has an all-time RBF in this movie. All-time RBF in this movie. Sorry, you might have to cut that. It's okay. But it's like the hair tied back. It reminds me of like Stu's fiance in The Hangover, right? She's a gorgeous lady too. She lets her hair down. She's like really awesome. And she did a great job acting. But she is all-time like she's pissed off at all times.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna switch over to the performances. I guess we'll start with her. I thought she was good. It was a tough. I guess I would say I would put her in my top 5 performances of the year for women actresses, lead actresses. I think she was. I thought Billie Holiday, U.S. versus Billie Holiday, was a bad movie, and even though Andra Day did well in her first full feature film, I thought I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I thought in this movie Han whatever was very good and would be deserving. But going back to the grandma Young Jung Un, like she just brought a different like the movie was so tense, right? But she's the grandma that doesn't bake. She swears. She steals from the church. Like she's just trying to like be a playful grandma, playing cards, like swearing at the kids, like in a fun way, not real uptight. It's just like that's what you needed. That's why she's getting this recognition. Like she just did such a good job bringing up this different element to the movie because a movie is so tense, but then she makes it really enjoyable to watch. So I thought that's why I really loved her and why she really deserved an Oscar, at least for me.
I mean, I think I like personally, I really liked her character also because of the context of it. Because she is right from Korea. Her husband died in the Korean War. All of a sudden, she's an immigrant to America. Like these people killed like her husband, and like has not treated her family well. So like to see her bring levity like to the family, but also she understands the context around them. Like maybe we shouldn't be like maybe making being so tight with these Americans, right? And that's she's a little like more like hands off like that. So I thought she was awesome though, and I kind of saw the foreshadowing for the end of the movie, but more than deserving of an Oscar win. And one thing I want to talk about, we brought up the performance from Young Jung Yoon, but I also want to talk about Alan Kim, the little kid I brought up from the Oscars. I want to talk about the dynamic between the grandma and obviously Alan Kim in the movie. Okay, so Flex, what did you think about how their interactions, and what do you think it did for the movie?
Yeah, like it kind of goes back to what I was saying about Young Jung Un. Just their interactions really made it in this movie so enjoyable to watch. Not just the natural beauty of it, but this storyline between the two of them, their connection. The boy, no spoilers, but the boy's saying you're not a real grandma, and she's just like not caring, like cares about the boy, but like saying I am who I am, and just really just their connection throughout the movie really brought a really great storyline to watch. And it really just showed Lee Isaac Chun's overall theme of the movie at the end, with the actual Minari and the togetherness of the family, and particularly that storyline really symbolized that. Not just obviously the headline one with the marriage.
This goes along with the beauty of the movie. You bring up the Minari, and who brought the Minari? Who's growing it? It's the grandma, right? And so you have Steven Yeun growing all of these crops, trying to take care of his family. But the Minari, grandma's growing it with, right, David, the young kid, right? I
Right.
believe it's David. Is that right?
Yes, David.
So
6-year-old.
they are growing the Minari, and it turns into something beautiful. And all these bad things are happening with Stephen Yeun's crops. And then at the end of the movie, who is going to grow the Minari with David? Stephen Yeun, right? A man who's been intense the entire movie. He's only been obsessed with his work. He's understanding that it's more about, obviously you want to do well for your family, but you can't forget about your family. And it seemed like he didn't really understand that. And the ending was a bit ambiguous because like you don't really know, like, because obviously they talked about not staying together, then they do like it seems like they might be staying together, and obviously it has a very chaotic ending. So Flex, were you a fan of like how they kind of Lee Isaac Chung kind of brought it to ahead right in the final act?
I was a huge fan. I thought it was perfect, if I'm being honest. It really took you back and forth between what's going to happen and what's expected to happen. And then when the unexpected happens, it kind of goes back to that levity of the whole movie, the beauty nature, the grandma, the Minari, just having that common theme throughout the movie where, hey, it can be, Lee Isaac Chung was saying how Minari can be planted in like bad dirt, but then and in second season it can grow back. Like that's the whole point of this movie. The family's struggling in their first year, and then hopefully the second year will be just like the Minari growing in rich soil or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a real gardener, but you know what I mean. I think
it's a beautiful, it's literally visibly beautiful, but then the theme.
It's a yeah.
Well, that's the Minari plant is supposed to be a connection to. It's basically a foreign plant coming into rough soil and planting its seeds and growing, just like the family is coming
right
makes
over
sense.
from another country, planting its seeds and growing themselves. But I also think one thing I want to comment on as well is the fact that I don't think it's just an immigrant, issue when it comes to people overlooking their family. I think it's just an American issue. I think it's very common in stories, outside of immigrant stories. But, how many times have we seen or just heard of people that are so invested in the American dream or just American capitalism and in greed in general, where their family dynamics kind of get shifted over being obsessed with their work, because that's kind of how we are as a people. And it's definitely something that's apparent in immigrants, because it's like when you move to a new country and you start fresh, obviously like you got to do whatever you can, but I think it's also just an American ideal and an issue in general.
Yeah, dude, I 100% agree. I teach a sociology course, and I just thought of it's more of like people have different ways to approach the means by which to attain goals in society, and people like we either might go the right way, follow the rules, do the right thing, and then maybe not achieve goals just because they don't have the opportunity. People take shortcuts to achieve that goal, right? But they end up losing a lot because of it. That's a big like theme in Martin Scorsese films. If we look at Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, so it's like they achieve high success, they make all this money, they're wealthy, but there comes all these problems with it. So it's like, and then you see this in the movie with Stephen Yeun, like he's using like the town water, not his water. Like he's like sneaking in. You guys remember that scene?
Yep.
So he's like kind of like taking shortcuts, and eventually, like obviously it comes like, oh, it's almost like a sense of karma when eventually it all goes to crap. And they also foreshadow the entire time that this grandma does not have the best relationship with Stephen Yeun. And then eventually obviously the end happens. I'm not going to spoil it, but like it's something that's been foreshadowed the entire like film.
Right.
So that's a great point, Ness. I love it. Okay. So I wanted to bring up really quick Will Patton. I remember the Titans buddy who's carrying the cross on his back for half a movie.
They're not gonna gain another yard.
Tonight they'll remember the night they played the Titans. Nah, but he was so damn weird in this movie. He was so weird.
The Exorcist stuff,
right?
And,
just
like,
I would not feel safe bringing that guy into my trailer.
Man, yeah, but I thought he was good. Like I thought he was good.
It was shocking. I was just like, I never thought I'd see this guy, this actor in this light. Yeah, I wasn't even gonna say it in light. Ricky's like, I think I ever see him again.
Like in a movie or a show. Like, I bet he's been in
24.
Like, what has he been in? I think he's been in like TV shows or something, but I haven't seen him in any prominent films or even like mediocre films in recent memory.
I just know him as Ned Yost.
Ned Yost. But yeah, like I actually thought he was good in this movie. Obviously a little weird, but
Right.
yeah, I thought he was good. A good little mix between the tense moments, like I was saying, and then the lightheartedness grandmother.
Absolutely. And then I know this takes place during like the Reagan presidency, 1980s. Okay. Major conservative at the time in the United States. I really also want to talk about Mountain Dew because Mountain Dew
Yeah.
is everywhere in this movie. And it's hilarious because I mean, the David is drinking the Mountain Dew, or it's the daughter. And then they're drinking it. The grandma's asking, "What is that?" It's like, "It's mountain water." Dad says it's good for you, and like literally, they just keep drinking Mountain Dew the entire time. And this goes to like the myth of what Mountain Dew was back in the day.
Right.
Like our grandfather, Grandpa Walt, shout out. I know he listens to the pod every once in a while. Hopefully, he hears this one. But he never thought Mountain Dew was good for you, but he used to drink it like instead of coffee, and he was just loved it. It was so good, and I kind of don't blame him. I would do the same thing, but I've kind of like got off the coffee grind, but pun intended. But I need to say Mountain Dew. I thought I kind of like that. That kind of like I guess like 80s Easter egg.
Yeah. It was cool. The 80s nostalgia was cool in this movie. The hats, the style. It was cool. I'll say that.
The TV and the weather reports and everything like that.
Mhm.
It did capture it. And
Yes.
like the clothes too. It matched perfectly.
Yes, for sure.
All right. So I guess that does it for most of our thoughts on Minari. I think it's time to throw out some scores. What do you guys say?
Let's do it.
So, Flicks, what are you giving this movie out of 100?
Yeah, like great meeting, great overall story, family togetherness. Like you heard us talk about it here. The Minari being like the medicine for the family for David at first, but then ended up being the medicine for the family. Like no spoilers. I'm gonna go 94. I really do think it was just a great story, a beautiful to watch, and really we talked about up and coming actors during the Oscars. Steven Yeun is the highlight of them in my eyes, or one of the highlights with Daniel Kaluuya. And also, if you haven't checked out Invincible, he's the lead voice actor in that. Check that out ASAP on Amazon Prime.
Mark Grayson.
Mark Grayson.
I'm gonna give this an 84. I enjoyed it. I like the story. I like the grandma. She's awesome in this movie. But I think it's just in terms of rewatchability. I don't know if it's quite there for me. And it's just not as action packed as I mean, listen, I'm sorry. I'm just giving you my reasons why it's so much lower than I think your guys's are gonna be, because I know how critically acclaimed it is. I know how good of a movie it is, but I just know I probably won't be watching this again. 84. Better than Mank, though.
84 from Naz. I'm gonna go 95. I'm gonna one up Ricky Flicks here.
Wow.
I think this was along with Promising Young Woman my favorite movie to come out in the last calendar year. Like I think it was that good. It was obviously beautiful. The acting's amazing. The themes are amazing. It looks great. Score is amazing. Literally, I can't say a bad thing about this movie. Has a couple lulls. Obviously, it's a very intense film though. So even the lulls, you're like you're
breathing.
I am entranced by the acting. I'm just like I'm waiting. Yeah, exactly. But yes, I'm going to 95. I really love this movie. I thought it really was going to win Best Picture over Nomadland. I would have watched this 10 times out of 10 over Nomadland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like looking
Not even
back
close.
Looking back on this calendar year and like rewatching a couple of these movies, like I would say like my favorite movie was Promising Young Woman by far. But like I think the best movie that I watched this year, again, I haven't seen The Father, but the best movie was this one. I think it was extremely well done.
So that does it for our review of Minari. Let's throw it over to Ricky Flex for top billing.
Thank you, Dr. O. In honor of Oscars week, we have the top billing of Oscar snubs. Also because of the Chadwick Boseman. That was kind of crazy. So this is like, oh, this is kind of perfect to do here. So top billing of Oscar snubs. Snake draft style per usual with 5 picks each. Once a role or movie is picked, it's off the board. Now, we have categories for this draft. We have the Oscar snubs for Best Picture, an actor, so an actor, an actress. So it could be either a supporting actor, actress, or a lead actor or actress. It could be either one of those two. Director and miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is just anything besides the 4 categories mentioned above. So miscellaneous cannot be Best Picture, an actor award, an actress award, or director. Okay? And to be clear, your pick is what you think should have won for that category in the Oscars for that year. Not like, oh, this should have been nominated, or oh, like this was better than the movie that did win, but this one should have won. Like it had to. You were saying that movie or actor or whatever should have won the Oscar. Any questions before we go in? Doctor, I'll start with you.
I don't have any questions. I just I got a weird board. This is the weirdest board I've ever had, and I can't wait to get to my miscellaneous picks. I think it's gonna bring the house down.
Nez, thoughts, strategies, questions?
I'm ready to go. Board's a little thin at certain areas, but I think we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, certain areas are thin. I think there's some clear options, but also like I think this can get a little funky, especially like it's a little subjective as well, obviously, but this could get a little funky. So Nez, how about you start us off here for the top billing of best Oscar snubs? It will go for you, Ricky Flicks, then Dr. O, and then we'll snake draft back in the second round and third, fourth, and so on. So Nez, start us off.
Well, upon doing my my research here, I was just really shocked, and I'm going with 1972 Stanley Kubrick, not best director for Clockwork Orange, actually only winning one. I guess I won't tease any picks here, but he's only won one Oscar in his entire life, and it was not best director or best picture. Absolutely insane. It was, oh my gosh. So I'm going with 1972 Stanley Kubrick not winning best director for Clockwork Orange, because that is an all-time movie, and Stanley Kubrick is one of the top directors of all time. Top 3 for me, and maybe my favorite, honestly.
No, yeah, you're a Full Metal Jacket guy. You love that movie.
I'm Full Metal Jacket. Have you seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
We would not have sci-fi as we know it today if we did not have 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I have a confession.
Scott never went. What?
I appreciate what 2001: A Space Odyssey did. I understand its importance. I hate that movie.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
I hate that movie. I fell asleep in class watching it. I fall asleep every time I watch it at my house.
It's long.
It's a very long movie. I'll give you that.
I can't stay awake during it, but I know it's important.
Like very like when he's like alone on the spacecraft. It's very, it does get very. I could see somebody falling asleep during that because it's very like a lot of silence. Just like
and it's like slow motion with the silence, so it's like
but the ending.
The ending is
like,
nuts. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
That was like Interstellar for like people in the 90s.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
But wow. Okay.
But I'm just saying we don't have Interstellar if we don't have 2001: A Space Odyssey. And Clockwork Orange was revolutionary, but I think it might have been too intense for a lot of people. And I think that was probably the issue. I think it was a little bit too intense for the early 1970s, and people were not about it.
I think it's still too intense now.
But actually, it's very intense. You're right. It is a little too intense now. But what I'm saying is, doesn't mean it's not deserving of an award. And I think that everything about that movie, like the cinematography and people still like relate to that shot of him in that little club with the set design with the tables. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. So the fact that he didn't win anything for that, and he only won one Oscar. Absolutely ridiculous.
Shame.
Dr. O, you like it at 1-1?
No. But I respect the move.
Okay.
I do like
a personal one.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I think.
No, I mean, no. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. Like, I know it's a personal preference. I'm just saying, like, if I had the 1-1, I wasn't going to go with that one. I'm not a Kubrick guy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I wouldn't have either, but I don't mind it going 1-1. I think it's. I do not.
Instead?
Sorry.
What one instead?
Oh yeah.
The French Connection.
Oh.
That's a great movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
Tough.
That's a snub in my opinion.
All right. It is subjective. All right. Now I'm up. Ricky Flicks. Okay. We talked about areas. There's some of these categories are a little thin. I think the actress category is a little thin.
Oh, don't do this to me.
I don't know if this is going to be the one. I've debated between these three all day, particularly the top two, but I'm going to pick Lorraine Bracco from Goodfellas. She did not get Best Supporting Actress. Whoopi Goldberg got it for Ghost. I think in Goodfellas is such a terrific film, and obviously all the performances around it, Ray Liotta, De Niro, Pesci, but she just really brought it. with Ray Liotta. And I think that this is just like one where I thought, like, looking at snubs, this is just one that I was just perplexed with that she didn't win over Whoopi Goldberg here. So I'm going to go with that. I know it's not necessarily like a first rounder for like all-time snubs, but based on like value here, strategic thinking, I want it now before maybe Dr. O gets it on the snake.
Okay. I mean, I love Goodfellas, and I think she's awesome in that movie. So like, I'm not gonna hate on that pick. Definitely a strategy move for sure.
I'm a big fan of Ghost myself. I used to watch that all the time.
Ghost is good.
Used to watch that with my mom all the time. That movie was always on the Wii network, so I would watch it with my mom when we were doing chores.
Love that. All right, Dr. O, back-to-back picks here.
Okay. I'm gonna start off with director, and I'm gonna go with Goodfellas again over Dances with Wolves, 1991, right? 1991 Oscars. People forget Scorsese didn't win a Best Director until The Departed in 2006. Scorsese is literally the GOAT, and he didn't win till 2006. And Goodfellas is it's arguably his masterpiece, and he didn't win it over Kevin Costner, who won Best Picture as well, right? So they gave Costner Best Director and Best Picture over Goodfellas, right? So Goodfellas, I got to go with Scorsese as director, and then I'm going to go with movie, and I'm going to go Saving Private Ryan over Shakespeare in Love. Like, that's a joke that Saving Private Ryan lost out to that movie. There are some cringe moments in Shakespeare in Love where it's like, honestly, you're going against the greatest war movie that's ever been created, the most realistic war movie that's ever been created. It's some of the most intense action in the history of cinema, and you chose like Ben Affleck dressed in a freaking skirt, who's like the most annoying character in the history of movies. So I'm gonna go with first round pick is Scorsese for director, and then second, Saving Private Ryan over Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah. I mean, it's on my. Let me just start with Saving Private Ryan. It's on my big board. I'll tell you that right now. That's just an egregious snub. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Like I literally just watched the opening scene for fun the other day. I was with Ricky Flex, and he's like he literally just heard like the sea going onto the beaches of Normandy.
I was literally gonna say this,
and he goes like saving. That's all he says, and I'm like, yep. You know, and then it's also hits my blog of all time movies to watch in school.
Oh yeah. Oh
yes. Yeah. No, I think this is the biggest Oscars or the most prominent snub in Oscar history. Like, everyone always thinks, oh, how like hard the campaign the Harvey Weinstein did for Shakespeare in Love to win this award. Yes, obviously, yes, very anti-Weinstein. So everyone always refers to this movie as like the premier snub. So I think this is the best Oscar snub, and a great, phenomenal pick.
No, it looks even worse now. It looks even worse.
Yes,
because that's
terrible.
One of the notable things is that Harvey Weinstein was like campaigning like crazy to get this thing an Oscar.
Yeah.
And now when you look back at it, it's like, damn, like this guy had a lot of pull. Like I mean, he's a disgusting human being, and he really just had like a lot of pull in Hollywood. It's insane. It's insane that this won. It should not have won.
Yeah.
It should not have won. This is why I hate when people campaign for Oscars, period. Just stop campaigning. Stop pandering. I would never pander. Not even to win a top billing.
Never pander.
Never. All right. Speaking of pandering, not pandering here. I have said before that this man might be the greatest actor ever. I don't think so. I'm just saying I have said. People do say that.
Here we go.
Okay.
Saving Private Ryan might be the biggest Oscar snub, but this is second. Denzel for Malcolm X, 1993.
You have brought this up multiple times.
You have.
Denzel.
Right.
If I didn't get this would look bad for my brand. This would look bad.
True.
This movie, I necessarily didn't. I really liked the movie. 3 hours long. It shows Malcolm X literally from like an 18-year-old until the day he dies, and Denzel does it all himself and does it masterfully. This is his best performance by far, and he didn't get an Oscar for it. It's absolutely ridiculous. I did love the performance that we did win in here, which is Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman. But they only gave that to him because he never won an Oscar before. He didn't win for Dog Day Afternoon, not for The Godfather 1 or 2, in supporting or leading. He didn't win for he didn't win for anything. So like they had to give it to him in case this was the last time.
Right.
But Denzel deserved this.
I have a comparison for this that I want to make during honorable mentions, because I think I have one that is pretty fitting in terms of like, I think Pacino played such a likable character. It was just like you were rooting so hard for him, and the career he had. It's like you're obviously trying to honor it. Malcolm X, Denzel is kind of a newcomer on the scene, right? A Spike Lee joint. It's like it just didn't have like I guess the pull. Like if he played Malcolm X like in 2000, probably wins the Oscar, right?
Yeah.
It's early on in his career, but he
You're
went
right.
against Pacino. It's tough, and he was due to get one, his only one.
And Denzel just got one for Glory 3 years earlier.
Oh, we got one earlier. Yeah, okay.
So he already had an Oscar. So they're like, oh, like typical Oscars. Like,
was that 98? When was
Glory?
No, Malcolm X.
No, 93 Oscar. 93.
93 Oscar?
Or 94 Oscars.
Okay. Sorry. I was just asking. I just don't remember.
Yep. But so I got my number one for actresses and actor. I don't know if they're your ones, but I like where I'm at right now, even though I think your guys' picks have been great. And Nez, finish off the second round for us here.
All right, to finish off the second round, I'm going with my actress snub. And this one is, I think it's personal just in general, that this person hasn't gotten one, but I'm going to go, I guess I have to pick a movie specifically. So I'm going to go with Amy Adams in The Fighter. She was nominated for lead actress in a supporting role, I believe. And
yeah.
I believe I can't.
Melissa Leo won in the same movie.
Yeah, nuts. Amy Adams, The Fighter. Any comments on there before I move on to
It's
my?
fascinating.
I'm back to back, right? Okay.
It's fascinating that she lost to someone in her own movie. Melissa Leo is more like, they're both hard-nosed characters, but she's almost like got more recognition because she's more brash. Like they're both hard-nosed, but she's just like such like a hater that like she became like the favorite for that category. I know she had a pretty pretty good Oscar speech. But I think I agree, man. I think Amy Adams is a premier actress, and she's been nominated 5 times, 6 times already, and has gotten nothing. She's like one of the best in the game. It's like kind of reminiscent of like, if you want to do a male counterpart, it's like DiCaprio, like missing out every time, and they've like around the same age, missing out on those Oscars. Throw back to Catch Me If You Can. Good.
She's just gotta spend 6 weeks in the freezing cold and cut and open a bear and sleep inside of it. It's not a big deal.
You got to do
it. She's really got to go above and beyond here.
She's 0 for 6 in Oscar noms.
Dang.
And she did not get nominated for Arrival, 2017 Oscars, 2016
was a great movie.
But she was phenomenal in that. That's my favorite role she's ever done.
Didn't even get a nomination.
Didn't even get a nomination for that.
She's gonna be in The Woman in the Window, future review. Near future review.
I have no idea if that's gonna be good.
The cast is pretty good though.
I know, but did you? But like the reason why we're reviewing this is not only because it's Amy Adams, Gary Oldman, but like, did you like the reason why is like they sent it out to screeners to like test audiences, and they hated it, and they had to re-edit the whole thing.
Oh boy!
So it was the pushback was already happening before even the pandemic pushed everything, like delayed everything.
Gotcha.
So like I'm a little worried for this movie.
Was this supposed to be like an awards contender?
When this got announced, like this movie was happening and the cast was announced, everyone was.
It is a little suspect that an
awesome.
Amy Adams drama is being released like 3 weeks after the Oscars. That is suspect.
Yes,
it's true.
But Nez, your third pick.
All right, my third pick here is a Best Picture snub.
Ooh.
In this Best Picture snub, I'm going with The Social Network. Flix is giving me the evil eye right now. I just want to say that I almost picked this first overall just to get on Ricky Flix's nerves.
Okay. I would have felt better if you did that.
I waited. He hesitated. He continued to hesitate. And it was up for grabs. So I'm going with The Social Network. I mean, it's just an absolutely great movie, deserving of Best Picture. The writing's incredible, cinematography, the acting, everything top to bottom is great. And I don't know why they didn't win. Flix, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I should have picked this one earlier. Yeah, that's just my fault. phenomenal
There's a
pick.
few Best Picture winners, like a few major snubs. So like,
Yeah,
this was high on my list too, for sure.
I over strategized. That's what it comes down to now. I thought I was going to be able to get this.
You didn't get this pick.
I thought like, oh, I was doing everything right. I'm being a value drafter. I'm doing the right things.
I mean, don't pick up your suitcase yet, man. We got half a draft to go.
I know I'm still in this. I'm just saying, like, I really wanted that one. It's my favorite. I think it's my favorite movie of the 2010s. So like, I watched it twice this week.
Oh
I really wanted that one. It's
wow,
okay.
You watched it. I've actually watched it pretty recently too, and I'll look up clips on YouTube too sometimes. I'm definitely not a bigger Social Network fan than you. I'm not trying to claim that, but I am a big Social Network fan.
I'm doing okay. Dr. O, any last thoughts on this before we move on?
No.
Okay. Well,
if there's no podcast next week, it's because of this pick. If the drive-in is just canceled, I just want everybody listening to know that.
well, all right. Well, both of you have picked director already and best picture, so I'm going to wait to do those for my fourth and fifth pick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into the miscellaneous category. I'm going to dive in. This is so long for me because obviously it's so many awards that you could pick from. I'm going to go off the beaten path and not do a movie.
Oh, wow.
What?
This is shocking. I was going to write down what I thought you were going to guess.
Oh, dang. We'll say it after. Say it after for honorable mentions.
I'm going to write this down just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Write it down. I'm picking a documentary, and it's Morgan Spurlock's Super Size Me.
Wow.
That
Nice.
documentary changed the world.
That's true.
Changed the world. And it was nominated in 2005. Lost to Born into Brothels.
Wow. Wow.
Tweet at me or the pod if at the Drive-In Pod on Twitter or at Ricky Flicks if you've seen that. But Super Size Me changed the world and the most popular restaurant chain in the world. Like, it's ridiculous how this lost.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I remember I mean I've watched this in health class. I watched this at like everybody, every adult who had an influence in a kid's life was like, watch this. You like McDonald's? Watch Super Size Me. Like they're like just shoving it down your throat. They're like, look at it. Look at this.
You got to finish that.
This is how they get you,
huh?
Yeah. And it scares the crap out of you.
Yeah, and Dr. O, you just did a blog on like movies that you watch in school. Like, this had to be in that.
Absolutely. It's a health class movie you watch in the 8th grade. And instead of doing like hood rat stuff with your friends and then going to McDonald's, you say, okay, let's just go home and make PB&Js. You know, it just made you rethink your life for 3 weeks.
Let's get a salad.
Yeah. It's made us like, maybe we don't go to the drive-thru today. You know, maybe we don't go into McDonald's. But yeah, it's a great pick. It did change the world for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, off to you, Dr. O. Back to back picks here.
This is a joke. I'm getting this in the 3rd round. I'm about to have a murderer's row. I'm going with best supporting actor Samuel L. Jackson for Pulp Fiction. Who you got?
Nice.
Hey, you know who won that year for
who?
best
Martin
actor?
Landau.
Martin Landau for Ed Wood. Martin Landau for Ed Wood. Yes, I know Ed Wood is kind of like, I mean, I've heard good
famous
things.
Actor too.
Martin Landau, yes, older, right, than Samuel L. And Samuel, obviously, he was like new on the scene. Right. It was his first movie with Tarantino. It was the blossoming of an amazing relationship. But when you think of like electric characters in Pulp Fiction, who is full of such eccentric, oddball people, like you have Jules is probably like the most fascinating to see. And I mean, I get it. Landau, I don't know if he's won before. I know he's older than Samuel Jackson. I wasn't born yet at that time, but to think that he lost to this guy who I barely heard of, and Ed Wood is like kind of nowhere near like the success rate of a Pulp Fiction, or it didn't last like the test of time like Pulp Fiction did. I think that's a steal. I'm getting that in the 3rd round.
Yeah, that's a steal. That was number 3 on my big board for actor snubs. Martin Landau, like, he was nominated twice before in 89 and 90 for a couple movies, and he's like a famous actor back in the day, but like, this is just a clear snub. Like, I think it's just what you were saying. Like, he was coming on the scene. The Academy probably thought, oh, he's going to be in a lot more prominent movies moving forward. Like, he's going to get his Oscar soon. We still haven't seen it in 2021.
Dang.
It's coming.
All right, your 4th pick, Dr. O.
I'm gonna go actress, and this is more of a personal pick, but also she just straight up should have won. It's Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl. In 2014, I want to say, maybe I think it was 2015 and 2014.
2015
Gone,
Oscars.
yeah, and who won that year? Julianne Moore for Still Alice. I mean, come like, are you kidding me? Like, what the hell is Still Alice? I'm a movie podcast. I'm not really sure what Still Alice is. I think I kind of have to watch it to see, but I know Rosamund Pike. No one was out acting her during that year. There was no one that was at that level. It was so good, right? Whoever produced I Care a Lot came up to her and said, I need you to do that again. And guess what? She delivered again, a great performance, basically a shell of, right, what she did in Gone Girl. Gone Girl, one of the greatest twists in a movie in recent memory. And a lot of that movie was obviously carrying on her shoulders, not Ben Affleck's. It's like really her, because she's like literally she's like the attitude of the movie, and it's like she is like an absolute psychopath, and you really don't see where like that third act is coming. Excellent work from David Fincher. I have to go Rosamund Pike for my fourth rounder.
Great pick on my board as well. Great pick. Like, what a performance. Don't know that. Obviously, I didn't see who that movie and that performance that did win. I don't even remember what you said who won. Great pick.
It's Julianne Moore for Still Alice.
Oh, Julianne Moore. But I still haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, Julianne Moore's okay. I think she's a bit overrated, but I mean, Big Lebowski, great, and like obviously, like Kids Are All Right. All these
Can't
other
change.
movies that are yeah. It's like it's like she is devoted to the Oscar game, and I don't always associate with her at the same time. It's kind of weird. Like she has some misses.
Mm-hmm. Well, good pick. Now off to me for my fourth pick. I'm going to go Best Picture here. You both have a Best Picture pick, so this will be the last in this category. I think you both think I'm going to take this movie, but I just, for the sake of the draft, I don't want to keep repeating this movie, and I think I'll just say it. Goodfellas, I'm not going to pick it, but just for the sake of the draft, I'm not going to pick it. But I am going to pick in 1996, Braveheart won, and it's considered one of the worst Best Pictures ever, people say. I'm going to pick a movie that year that wasn't even nominated for an Oscar that should have won.
Wow.
Seven should have won. Dr. Rowe, I know this is kind of like you're on the Seven train.
I love
Thoughts?
Seven's one of my favorite movies ever made. I've said the podcast at least 4 or 5 times. It's like Fincher at his best. Like I just talked about Gone Girl. Like Gone Girl wouldn't have like. I mean, I can't imagine that movie gets made like in the same way without Seven. Like, and that's also like a darker buddy cop movie. And like all these buddy cop movies, you think of like these comedies, right? You think of Lethal Weapon, but this is like, no, we're getting dark here. And it was violent, it was gruesome, it was hard to watch. But and like the third act, the final scene is one of my favorite scenes to rewatch, even though you know it's coming. It's like the suspense that Fincher builds is all time. It's a great pick. I didn't know that it wasn't even nominated. What the hell?
You know how many awards it was nominated for?
One. Damn, I'm so good at guessing, dude. I did this in the pre-show yesterday.
And do you know how many? I'll say this movie because no one else is going to pick it because you already have your Best Pictures. Fight Club, another Fincher movie, 99, 2000 Oscars. Do you know how many Oscars that was nominated for?
0.
1. They're both nominated for the same thing, Best Film Editing.
Interesting.
Editing?
Now let me ask you
and
guys a question.
Obviously both lost.
Better quote. Which one is your better? Do you prefer, or would you rather say, you could take our lives, but you could not take our freedom, or what's in the box?
I like some box.
Come on, what's in the box? I don't know. I'm a big what's in the box guy, man. I love that scene. It's one of my favorites. No, I know. No, they're too different. They're too like the quote that itself is way better.
But you could never take our freedom.
That was an all-time scene. That's a great question.
Braveheart. I'm going with Braveheart on that one. That's just me.
All right, Nez, last pick of the 4th round.
All right. Well, going with my last pick of the 4th round, I got back-to-backs over here. I hear people stirring around because they heard upstairs because they heard me screaming like a maniac. But anyways, to close out the 4th round, I'm going to go with somebody that I think was absolutely snubbed, and that's Christian Bale in Vice. He lost to Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody, I believe, right? A completely, absolutely overrated movie and performance. I mean, Rami Malek didn't even sing all of the Queen songs.
No.
Somebody else was helping him with that. Why do you get Best Actor for that? That's ridiculous. Christian Bale was unrecognizable as Dick Cheney. He put on so much weight and he did such a good job. I just think that's a big personal snub, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel.
Bale's a chameleon. Like, like he literally wasn't recognizable. You would look forward to see whatever role he does because he's just going to get lost in it. Like kind of how Joaquin was joking about getting immersed in a character. So I like the pick. I actually had a different actor from the same year on my board. I had Bradley Cooper for Star is Born, but I don't blame you for taking Christian Bale. Like I love him in everything he does. Like to me, it's him and DiCaprio. They're in a league of their own. Obviously, Daniel Day-Lewis is a little different. He's he does movie every few years, but in terms of like consistent work and like the amount of success, Christian Bale, DiCaprio, they're 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'll just say something here. Since everyone's done actor now, I believe, yes. Christian Bale was number 2 on my big board for a different role. American Psycho.
Oh, that was a good. He did good. He did really well in that too.
Yeah, I think he should have won for that. Good pick. Your last pick now.
Did he even get nominated?
No.
For American Psycho.
American Psycho didn't get any award nominations.
Okay. Interesting.
For Oscars specifically.
My last and final pick. I'm going with the miscellaneous baby, and I'm going with a snub in 2012 Best Animated Feature. And that's The Lorax. An all-time story, baby. An all-time story. And it lost to Rango. Rango? Are you freaking kidding me? The Lorax tells a beautiful story about climate change, caring about your environment, responsibility, corporate greed. It teaches these kids such incredible stuff. And you know what? It's funny. I've seen it. I've watched it with my nieces. It's great. It's a great animated feature. Great movie. Absolutely snubbed. 2012 Best Animated Feature, The Lorax.
Dude, I do like The Lorax.
It's all time.
I do like that movie a lot. Flex, you're a fan?
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. It's good.
It's Jim Carrey, right?
It's a good movie.
Who is it? It's Carell? Who is it? Who's the Lorax?
It's someone.
Hold on. Let's find the cast
It's
right
Jim
now.
Carrey.
I don't think it's.
Is it? Or he's in the movie?
Oh, man, I'm thinking Horton.
Zac Efron, Ed Helms, Danny
Hears a Who.
DeVito. Yeah, you are definitely.
Ah, dang it.
Yeah,
The Lorax is a cool character though. Like the mustache, like the orange, like he's a cool character.
I know what it. I know what it is now. Yeah.
On Netflix, if you guys want to watch. But okay, that rounds out your draft. Ricky Flicks, myself is now up. I have just what do I have left? I don't even know. A director left. Oh man, this is actually tough. All my top 3 are still here.
Really?
I'm just gonna do it. I'm picking Quentin Tarantino for Pulp Fiction. This is a very subjective pick because Robert Zemeckis won for Forrest Gump. I think Tarantino and Pulp Fiction completely changed the game in cinema. Like just so influential with the violence, the humor, the different storylines and different loops and all the characters intertwining with the flashbacks and just overall coming together. Just never done before ever. And if it was tried, it just wasn't ever successful. This did win best original screenplay, but this was the best directing performance of the year by far. It just changed the game. He also just like showed everyone that making movies is cool. Like making movies is fun. Like this is like he didn't really learn like a Spielberg or a Scorsese. Like he's not like a true student of film. He's a student of just watching it. He just loves to watch film, and he just really translated that to the screen here and just changed the game with Pulp Fiction. So I really think that he should have won for Best Director because now we're in 2021, and now there's so many like risks and chances people are taking because Tarantino came onto the scene. So Quentin Tarantino is my pick.
Forrest Gump their director won Best Director?
Yes.
I know Forrest Gump won Best Picture.
Yes, and it won Best Director as well.
Wow, interesting. All right, I'll give it to you for best director then. If it was for best picture, I mean that was just a loaded category that year.
Yeah,
Don't forget
Robert
about
Redford
Shawshank.
for Quiz Show was there. Shawshank, like
Yeah,
just a loaded year, maybe the greatest year in film.
arguably a huge snub there too.
Yeah,
Arguably, Shawshank.
Dr. O, any thoughts?
Bang. Yeah. So it's like I kind of compare this to I think of Tarantino. He started off Rookie of the Year with Reservoir Dogs, arguably the greatest independent film of all time. A lot of people rank it the best. And then you get sophomore campaign. Second year, he goes for the MVP with Pulp Fiction. And he's like should have gotten it. He was robbed of it. Right. But that's what I kind of think of. So I mean, he did transcend film. He created a movie that like a style of a movie that hadn't really been seen before. So that's really that's in
Not adapted, an original
and
screenplay.
it's his vision. Like I can totally like I see that snub for sure. It's on my list.
Yeah, Forrest Gump, I would say, is pretty unique in itself as well. I mean, I've never seen
yeah.
another movie like Forrest Gump in my life.
Yeah, it had the moments for sure. It had the great performance with Tom Hanks. It had like the historical relevance going through time. It had the love with him and Jenny, and like obviously a complicated relationship. It really did have it all too.
Yeah,
and it was interesting to see.
I'm a history buff, and I think the coolest thing about that movie is all the historical elements of that movie where they just go through like such crazy times.
Yeah.
And then this random guy is just like involved in so many pivotal moments.
Right.
I just
Eric
found
Roth
it,
had
like,
the pen for that.
I found it so interesting, but I'm not knocking the pick at all. I'm just comparing. I'm just comparing.
Yeah. There was a clear like my number one. This wasn't even my number one. This was my number two. But like this is a personal pick. I still think he should have won.
I mean, I'm a huge Pulp Fiction guy. So.
Yeah. Dr. O, finish us out. Mr. Miss Irrelevant.
I mean, you gotta like check if this is okay. I don't know if you guys will veto, but I'm gonna go Lego Movie for best animated film. Does that count?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because it didn't get nominated because
because of
element in it.
Because of Will Ferrell.
I think that's a snub. That's
count, right?
snub. That's still a snub. No, that's still a snub.
I'll allow it.
Those are stupid rules.
Yeah, I'll allow
Those
that.
are stupid
I do have another
rules.
one in the bank in case, but
I'll allow that.
I think it should. I think it's an absolute joke. I think it's a snub that it was considered a live action film. In that case, it is a snub too.
Stupid rule.
So Lego Movie,
that was upsetting.
Like that was one of the funniest animated movies I've seen in quite some time. When you think of like non-Disney animated movies, I think of Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, and this is like in the same vein where it's just literally it made me as an adult laugh. And the animation was actually bonkers. It was actually so cool.
Very cool.
They look like actual Legos like on the screen, and the cast is obviously loaded. Right, this is Chris Pratt. Like at the same time, he's doing the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Will Ferrell. Hilarious in that movie. They got Liam Neeson as good cop, bad cop. I mean, don't get me started. Everything is awesome. Come on, nominated for an Oscar for best song.
Yeah, that was a great song.
I was like doing some research for best original song, and I saw that one. I'm like, ooh, might be a.
I have some for honorable mentions. I have some for that.
I'll save it. But yes, I got to go Lego Movie for best animated film. I got to see who won that year.
Great pick. All right, I'll read off the drafts, and then we do honorable mentions while you look up that, Dr. Rowe. Nez, you had Stanley Kubrick for Clockwork Orange, Best Director. Amy Adams in The Fighter for Supporting Actress, your actress pick. The Social Network for Best Picture. Christian Bale in Vice for Actor. And The Lorax, an animated feature film for Miscellaneous. Ricky Flicks has Lorraine Bracco in Actress category in Goodfellas. Denzel in Malcolm X for Actor. Super Size Me, Miscellaneous, and the documentary feature. Seven in Best Picture, and Quentin Tarantino for Best Director for Pulp Fiction. Dr. Rowe, you had Martin Scorsese, Best Director, Goodfellas, Saving Private Ryan, Best Picture, Samuel Jackson, actor in Pulp Fiction, Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl as your actress pick, and The Lego Movie in Miscellaneous.
Big Hero 6, I think, won that year.
Nez.
I haven't seen that one.
I guess we'll just go by category. Any other Best Picture snubs that you had on your board, Nez?
Yeah, Citizen Kane. Kane. And
I actually really like that movie.
And Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock. I've realized that nobody on this podcast besides me is going to give Alfred Hitchcock his flowers. So I think I just need to really commit to it.
Well, let me say this. Psycho was on my big board, not for Best Picture, but Best Director.
Oh, okay.
because
All right,
Hitchcock famously never won, and I think
Yeah.
that's his best. So that's what I want. That's what I
fair
put
enough.
down.
Fair enough.
Dr. O, any other Best Picture snubs on your board?
For best picture, I had a couple. LA Confidential over Titanic.
I
I
agree.
have that on there. Star Wars, New Hope over Annie Hall. I have Dark Knight not being nominated, and arguably I think was the greatest film of the year, even though Slumdog
Oh, yeah.
Millionaire won. But Slumdog's obviously still great. But I think, I mean, I like that's my favorite movie of all time. Like, how could I not want
Yep.
that one? I think that's pretty much it. Did we talk about? We said Social Network over King's Speech. Did we say that one?
That was Nez's pick,
Oh, right. Okay.
and I
gotcha,
said,
gotcha.
the one I was toying with was Goodfellas over Dances with Wolves. Raging Bull over Ordinary People in 1980s.
You know
also
what
won.
also came out in the year the King's Speech won? Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I mean, that's got to be in Best Picture, right? All right, I'll shut up now.
No. But okay, yeah. Moving on. Actresses. Nez, do you have any left on your board?
I only had one on my board, and I'm so glad you guys didn't take it. I
Dr.
really
O.
struggled at finding. They don't have lists of that.
I got a couple. I have Jennifer Jason Leigh for Hateful Eight. Over
that's good.
Alicia Vikander. She won for the Danish Girl. I mean, like Danish Girl. That's such it's like a big time like woke movie. I don't know. If people are just,
Yes.
like, they're
No,
like,
no, that's
okay,
true.
whatever. I have Anne Bancroft in The Graduate, who plays Mrs. Robinson.
That
It's one of my
1970
favorite movies.
Oscars, 69 movie.
A 68. I want to
68.
say.
Okay.
I think it came out in 67, but I have her. That's like, wow, I love that movie so much. Not a perfect movie, but I love it. I think that's pretty much it. I have Kate Blanchett and I'm Not There, where she played Bob Dylan.
Oh yeah, that's good. Well, for me, Charlize Theron, Mad Max. I thought
Nice.
like people like Emma Stone in La La Land was great, and like that was an Oscar-worthy performance. But I thought Charlize Theron that year was phenomenal, so I thought she should have won. And Kate Winslet in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I thought that was. I'm still shocked she still didn't win during that year. Hilary Swank won for $1 Million Baby. Like great movie, but like she won like 2 years prior. Like I don't know why they did that. It made no sense to me. It was just kind of odd the Academy did that. But that was like one I was toying with as well. But moving on, actor Nez, any left on your board?
Yeah, this one's actually this past year. Delroy Lindo, supporting actor, not even nominated. The big, massive snub, like massive disservice. I couldn't believe it. I think we were shocked when we did the Oscar preview podcast.
Yes,
that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I don't think The Five Bloods got a single nomination.
Did it? Oh my god!
I don't think so.
Man, I don't recall. But that's nuts. I'm like Delroy Lindo, like that's a victim of like a movie coming out. What in March? I think May or something.
June.
It was June.
It was nominated for original score. I knew it had one.
Oh, okay.
Still, come on, like if that's a victim of circumstance. Like imagine if that came out in December or came out in January. It's just
it would be.
It shouldn't be held to the same. Like that shouldn't be how it is. Just how it is.
I don't understand that. It's ridiculous. It has to come out during
people
Oscar
just
season.
forget.
Like I
It's
just
like,
don't
okay,
understand it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Dr. O.
Tom Cruise in Magnolia over Michael Caine in Cider House Rules. Like Michael Caine, Cider House Rules, boring. Talk about not boring. Tom Cruise talking like basically going through a sex seminar in Magnolia.
Right.
So it's a absolutely wild freaking performance by him. It's one of like the most. I don't know. He just really goes all out there, and you could tell he was all in for that role. He wanted it bad, and that's when Tom Cruise was on an absolute heater, where he was going Jerry Maguire, Born on the 4th of July a couple years earlier. He had Eyes Wide Shut. We talk about Stanley Kubrick. Talk about a wild movie, but yes, Tom Cruise and Magnolia.
No, like I think even Tom Cruise and Jerry Maguire in '97 over Jeffrey Rush would have been adequate as well.
I'm quietly judging you.
But for me, Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness in 2007 over Forrest Whitaker in Last King of Scotland. I just recently rewatched Last King of Scotland. Good movie and a great performance, but Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness I thought was much better. Jesse Eisenberg in Social Network over Colin Firth, King's Speech. We don't need to belabor Social Network anymore. Al Pacino or anybody from The Godfather in 1973 over Joel Grey, Cabaret. like Al Pacino,
Whoa,
uh,
I'm a huge
Robert
Cabaret
Duvall,
guy.
James Caan, any of those three. All three were nominated. Literally any of them over Joel Grey. And then last, Ralph Fiennes and Schindler's List for supporting.
I don't know anything about Cabaret. I did see it. I watched Schitt's Creek, and they did like a thing with Cabaret, and it was actually pretty cool.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome.
Yeah, like no
Oh, yeah, I've seen
disrespect,
that
but it's The
play.
Godfather.
I've seen that play.
It's The
Yeah,
Godfather.
No,
It's
yeah, I know, I
cabaret,
agree.
baby. It's
And
cabaret.
And I guess just continuing with that theme, best director, like my number one, my big boy was Francis Ford Coppola losing to Bob Fosse for Cabaret. Like that's ridiculous. Arguably the greatest film of all time, just not getting best director. And then my other one was David Fincher's Social Network. We lost to Tom Hooper, The King's Speech. Remember, Tom Hooper directed Cats in 2019. That's all I'll say.
Oh, boy. Oh my.
Any other best director snubs?
No, I think you nailed it. I had Hitchcock down, but we already talked about him. Just and also just a repeat of my already also pick, Stanley Kubrick. It's just ridiculous. It's just it's egregious.
That's row.
That's it for me.
And finally, miscellaneous. Dr. Rowe, any miscellaneous that you want to say?
I had one that I wanted to pick. I told you I had one that was gonna bring the house down. I think it was just like it's like a me scrolling down the years looking for something weird, and I found 1995. Babe won special effects over Apollo 13.
What?
Wow.
Oh my God.
I was like, how the hell did this pig win best special effects over this Tom Hanks in space with Kevin Bacon and Bill Paxton? Like,
Wow.
what is this?
And
I was
Pretty
Harris.
freaking funny.
I couldn't believe it, but I like Lego Movie a lot, so I wanted that one. But that was the one I had up my sleeve.
Nez?
I got nothing else for. I knew nobody else was gonna pick Lorax, so I just wrote that down and ran with it.
All right. Well, I have a couple here, or several. I'm going to just quickly do. I'll just do original song first. You've Got a Friend in Me, Toy Story didn't win. That's crazy.
We lose too.
Colors of Wind, Pocahontas.
I mean, that's a bad.
Oof.
But You've Got a Friend in Me?
I know. Colors of the Wind is beautiful though.
Yeah.
It is.
Another original song. Shrek 2, Accidentally in Love, Lost in Motorcycle Diaries, whatever song that
Okay.
was.
Damn,
Okay.
disrespect to the Counting Crows.
That's like, come on now.
All right.
And then original screenplay, King's Speech won in 2011. Inception.
Wow.
Like Christopher Nolan. Like that movie's insane. Like who thinks
Yeah.
of that?
that's I
Dreams
can't
inside of
believe-
dreams. Like
How do you lose that? How do you?
Wow.
That's nuts.
yeah. And cinematography, Dark Knight. Any of the Dark Knight Christopher Nolan movies.
Gotcha.
Good ones.
But that rounds out our top billing.
I had one more. Sorry, I was looking at my list. I'm sorry.
One more moment, doctor.
All right, let's do that one again. I had actor. I wanted to bring up like for the artist. I think John, whatever his name, Dujardin won, and I was gonna say Brad Pitt and Moneyball, and he hadn't won anything up to that point. So I thought he was like Brad Pitt was amazing in that movie, and I think
I
that
say-
was just like artsy fartsy. They took that one.
We almost got through top billing without this, but I disagree. I recently watched The Artist. It's actually pretty good. Like best actor,
Wow.
I thought deserved. Like I was impressed.
Okay.
Very impressed.
Okay. I just think of him in The Wolf of Wall Street.
I do like Moneyball better as a movie, just because like I'm a sports fan and stuff. But like that performance is pretty dang good. It was good.
I'll take Moneyball still, but okay.
But that does it. Let's round it out.
All right. Well, that does it for episode number 34 of the Drive-In Podcast. We'd like to thank you for listening and ask that you check out our blog on a daily basis at thedriveinpod.com. You can also follow us at the Drive-In Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you very much, and we will
Smell ya.
Later.